Hey neighbor, Alicia Dolan here at Creating on My Corner. I'm giving this a second shot. I know that I am trying to figure out what's going on here. I thought maybe I'd have to restart my phone, so that's what I did. Hopefully that will fix my problem. And so I'm just giving it a second to reconnect to itself. Anyway, I hope that you're having a wonderful time. Hopefully everyone will find me again. I know it's kind of pain when this happens. Okay, so tonight we are going to be working with this Loveliest tree stamp set. Isn't that wonderful? As long as I can get my camera to work. Even if I can't, I will try to find a way. But a couple things I wanted to tell you about, just in case you did not know. So for the month of May, there's a huge joining special for Stampin' Up. You get not only the regular $125 in product for $99 and free shipping. You do have to pay tax. But you also get the 5 new in colors. So you get cardstock, inks, Stampin' Up markers, and let's see, cardstock, ink, Stampin' Up markers. I had to write it down because I was afraid I would forget. And the designer series paper. All right, I'm going to try that again and see if my camera will start. I did click to start, so I don't know what is going on here with my camera. I don't know why it's not connecting. It's having a real problem. And I really want to show you this card. All right, and really we usually make 2 cards together, so I'm trying to get it to work. I do not know what is wrong. All right, so there's 2 big things. There's the joining special. That's good May 1st through 31st. 1st through 31st. So if you join Stampin' Up, and that just means that you become a demonstrator, you get a discount, a 20% discount on everything you buy. And you, depending on who you choose, they put you into a team. So, but the joining special, you get 5 stamp pads, 5 colors of cardstock, and 5 Stampin' Up markers. Now, those are all the in colors, which are new, and they're really pretty. There's Pretty in Pink, Shy Shamrock, Summer Splash, Petunia Pop, and Peach Pie. I still don't know why my other camera isn't working. And I'm not sure what to do about it, because you have to be able to see my table for us to make the cards together. Okay, so there's the joining special, and then the other thing I want to tell you about before I forget, because I'm a little distracted by my technology being crazy sauce here. There is a special on Tuesday where there's free shipping. So if you have anything you want to order, if you want to place an order, there's free shipping with $75 or more. So you can place an order then. If you're looking to place an order for to qualify for my last class for free or next month's class, then you can do that on Tuesday and use my host code, the host code for this month. And if you didn't come to this month's class, then I'll know that you're planning to come to next month's. So there's that. And the email will be coming out this week, and that'll have the host code in it, as well as the tutorial for for, what was I trying to say? For this month's class. Okay, and if you weren't here, I haven't posted the pictures yet. So this is what we did this month. I wish I could turn my camera down so you could see these really well. So here is the first card. Let's see, this way. Makes it go right. And it's really pretty. I don't know if you can see up close or not, but this little airplane right here has some Wink of Stella on it, and it's so shiny. So there's the first one. We also made this card. So the tutorial will be coming out this week. I've already got it almost done. I just have to take my pictures and pop them in. This one. And then this was the last one. So I used that Adventurous Sky bundle, the same one that I used for our last class this month, our last online class. And so that was really cool. All right, let me see. I'm going to try this again. Hopefully, I don't know why it won't work. All right, I'm going to try something different. It's going to take me just a second. I cannot believe my camera is giving me such a hard time today. So we might have to deal with a little bit of cords in our way. I don't know what's going on. I feel like I had it all together and everything was going just right, and then I don't know, something went wrong. I guess that's kind of how it works, right? All right, so we're going to try this. And I know that the cord's going to be a little bit in our way here. And all kinds of crazy stuff, possibly. And hopefully I won't knock this over. I don't know why it won't just do what I say. This is going to be terrible, isn't it? All right, hold on. I feel like every time I think I'm getting it together, something goes crazily wrong. All right, let me see. Well, you can kind of see. Let's see here. There's a shadow, and it's a little wonky. I don't know why the other camera won't work. I'm going to have to do a few more videos here and there so I get used to how the camera goes. All right, so let's get started before anything else goes the way it's not supposed to go. So I had in my stash some cards that I cut for a different class. So this is a piece of cardstock. It actually would be cut 4 1/4 by 11, and then it's scored here at 5 1/2. You can see that little score mark. So this is what it would look like before I cut it. It would have looked like this. And then we're going to trim off this end here, which is like 2 3/4. So that's trimmed off. Pretend I'm trimming. And then we are going to fold this. I keep moving the wrong direction now. Right on that score line, and we can press that with our bone folder. And I'm sure that you can see extra bits of trash here on my on my table. That wasn't meant to be like that. However, since my camera decided not to cooperate fully, that's what we're doing up with. All right, so first we need a piece for the inside of this card. This is the card that we're working on tonight. I was going to work on 2 cards, but I know at least you can see the table now. It's a little messy and it's a little, I may bump this cord. I'm going to try really hard not to. I don't know why the other camera wouldn't work. So I'll work on that. Anyway. All right, so for the inside, we need a piece that's 5 1/4 by 4. So here, I'm just going to take one out of my trusty little stash. And we are going to use our basic gray stamping pad. So I've got a little piece here of what do we call it? Graph paper? I want to call it graph paper. I know that's not what it is. I can't think right now though. All right, so for the inside, we're going to stamp these 2 little leaves. And then I'm going to show you how to color them. I'm hoping that I can get the camera to zoom in a little bit on that. Let me use my Stampin' Pierce mat because I think that's going to help my card show up a little better. I think that does show up better. All right, so if I scoot this way just a smidge, maybe I can get that camera to zoom in so you can see where I'm stamping. All right, if I click this, I am learning things, but it's apparently taking a lot of effort. Okay, so now I've zoomed in so you can see what I'm stamping and when I'm coloring. That's really the part I want you to see. All right, so here's our Loveliest tree stamp set, and first we're going to use this little leaf right here on the inside. This has some really nice sentiments. There's sending heartfelt sympathy, congratulations, thank you, and happy birthday. So those are good sentiments that you might need on occasion. All right, so we're going to take our little leaf, and remember that our stamp pads, the new ones, are foam. All right, hold on, let's see. I'm trying to, there. Now I'm not outside of the circle. Okay, and so when you're stamping, what you want to do, you just really want to lay your stamp on there. You don't want to press it in because it is foam. If you push it in, it's going to get ink in all the places, possibly places you don't want ink to be in. So if you just lay it on the top and press gently, then you're going to find you get a better stamped image. So we're going to do the same thing when we're stamping. We're going to lay it down and then press in the center, just like that. Okay, let me show you that again. Let's see. I think you can see it if I put it right here. So we're going to lay it down and just press gently. We're not going to push it in. We're just pressing gently. And then we're going to put one more leaf down here in this corner. And I think this camera does show up pretty good, doesn't it? It seems like. I just have to figure out how to get it so the cord's not right where I'm going to catch it and mess it up. Okay, I'm going to close this because we're going to color our tree later. So what I did was I used the Stampin' Blends, and this is Mossy Meadow. This is actually the light Mossy Meadow. And what I found was I didn't want to color the whole image. So if you look kind of closely here at my little leaves, you can see that I left some white space, and I think it looks a lot nicer like that than when I just colored it over. And I can show you the difference. So this was my practice sheet, and you see how you can't really see the lines inside there, But if you compare the two, I really think the top one is better if you look at it up close. So that's what I wanted to show you. So when you're coloring, if you want that same kind of look with a little bit of white space, you're just going to start at the vein of the leaf and kind of color along a little bit this way. So a little bit along each side. So you're not scruffing it from line to line. You're just starting in the middle and kind of working a couple lines out. And that'll leave a little bit of white space because these markers will, they don't really bleed a lot, but they do kind of spread just a little bit. And so if you want to leave some white space, you're going to want to just go one direction and press really light. I don't know which one you like better, but I definitely like a little bit of white space in my coloring. Now, I haven't always, but I do now. Okay, so there is going to be our piece for the inside, and I'm just going to leave that there for a minute. And let's see, next let's stamp our tree. So we need a piece of basic white that's going to be 2, let's measure just to be sure, because I can't remember if it's 2 or 2.5. So we're going to take our card and just measure this white part. It's 2.5 by 4. So I am going to send out the tutorial for this month's card class, and then tonight's will be in there, but it'll be separate. Oh, good. I'm glad that you can see the difference, Janelle, and that you think it looks better, because I think it looks better too. All right, so now we're going to cut this 2.5 by 4. And then you're going to see, I can't show you the difference on the tree because I didn't color a tree fully with the marker. I only colored one with the white space because that was what I tried first. And then when I tried the inside, that's when I tried to switch it up and do the whole leaf, and I didn't like it as much. So you're kind of benefiting from my, my mistake. Not really, but I don't know if you would really call it a mistake, but my experience, let's say that. My coloring experience. Okay, so here is our tree, and this one I'm putting on block E because it's a little too wide for the other block. And you want to have a block that's just a little bit bigger than your stamp. You don't want it to be too big because then you're likely to rock it in that ink. And actually, I probably could have used a smaller one for this one. Hi, Wendy. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so then, sorry, I got a little lost there for a moment. Okay, so we're going to stamp again with our basic gray. And again, we're just going to lay our stamp down and we're going to press it a little bit. We're not going to smoosh it into the ink because we don't want that ink getting all over. We only want it where we want it to be. So then when you turn it upside down, see how it's all shiny? That's what you want. But you don't want to see globs of ink everywhere. You just want it to be nice and shiny all over. Okay, so then we're going to stamp this down. And what I found was I like to line up this little bottom. Oh, you couldn't see that. Sorry, I was behind my face. All right, so I like to line up this little bottom kind of with the edge. So that's what tells me if it's straight or not. Because this tree is not like, it's not even on both sides, of course, because it's a tree. All right, so this is what our tree looks like now. And then we're going to color it. First, I'm going to clean off my stamp real quick so I don't have any incidents. I don't usually trim my stamps, but I will tell you, we used to, right? When they used to come, we used to trim them. I haven't in a long time because most of the time they line up pretty well. I did get a stamp set not too long ago that this, I can tell you, this red rubber part, not on this particular set, but on a different set, was cut way off. So like one side was really far out from the stamp, the other side was really skinny up to the stamp, and that in itself would not have bothered me. But when I went to put the sticker on the other side, it wasn't cut the same way. So then when I would go to stamp, nothing would line up right. If I was trying to fit it in a circle, I couldn't get it right. So actually what I did was I called Stampin' Up, and they, because the set was so off, they sent me a replacement set. So anytime you have a problem with a Stampin' Up product, don't be afraid to call them and tell them that you had a problem, because they won't know unless we tell them. Okay, and then the way that I colored my tree, actually, I started with the brown. So I have here the bronze. I really like the bronze and ivory Stampin' Blends. I use those a lot. So this one is the bronze. They come in a set. And what I did first was I colored my trunk and the branches. So these little branches are kind of skinny up here at the top, so I used this little skinny end of the marker blend. It's not a marker, it's a blend. It is a marker, but it's not a Stampin' Right marker, so I gotta try to remember to use the right terminology when I'm telling you what I'm doing. So we're just coloring all the branches that we see. Now, I may be missing some. This stamp has a lot of detail, but I don't think whoever gets the card will be complaining to me about it. I could be wrong. I mean, you never know. But I would hope that if I was sending them a card, they would be understanding about this. All right, and now I've turned it out to the other end, and I'm just going to fill in the trunk here a little bit. Oh, and I did miss the branch over here. I can see this one for sure. I really like to color. Coloring is one of my favorite things, and so ever since the first time I started stamping, that was really my focus, was coloring in my stamps. Okay, so now we're going to color this, our leaves, and this is Mossy Meadow. And so what I did was I just kind of made little circles around my leaves, and I'm not pressing hard at all. But you can see that even though I'm not pressing hard, the tip of my marker will get bent a little bit. So when you're using your Stampin' Blends, you really want to be careful not to press too hard, to be very gentle with them. And it really doesn't take much to get a good color from them. So we're just kind of going in little circles around where the leaves are. But we're not, see how we're not like coloring it all in, because we want to make sure that we're leaving a little bit of that white space in there. And technically we could, if we were coloring the sky or something, we could go in there with a marker and color those little bits in between. We could add a few little flowers. That would be pretty if we were making a flowering tree. But I just kind of wanted to show you, you can color this really quick and it turns out so pretty. And it doesn't take much, but I do feel like that little bit of white space kind of adds something to it. I don't know what. I'm sure there's some kind of artist, like a, I don't want to say a rule, but probably like a rule for white space, for coloring. I don't know any of that. I don't have any formal art training. In fact, I was in an art class in high school and I really loved it. However, my teacher was kind of always on my case a little bit because I am not very quick with art. I tend to be, I can tell you, I have some perfectionist tendencies. I am pretty sure I know a little bit where they come from. But I do like things to be just so. And if I cannot do something so that I feel like it's right, I have a really hard time with it. So that was hard for me. That art class was hard. Having deadlines is hard. Is still hard to this day. Something I struggle with. In some cases, it does help me, but not in all. All right, so here is our tree, and then I colored a little bit along the bottom there, just so that it would look kind of grounded. So see how that white space, I feel like it adds something. This one might have even a little bit more than my first one. But I do like it, and I feel like you could add little flowers or little birds in there. It would be really pretty. Okay, and then we need a piece of mossy meadow. I should have left that out. I tucked it back in my box. Okay. I didn't put it all the way away, but I did tuck it in my box. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing that we did with our white. So we're going to cut it at 2.5. And then again at 4. Okay, and then I'm going to emboss this. Using this this embossing folder. I think it's called Layered Florals. It's probably one of my favorites right now. I was looking to see if I had a leaf embossing folder, but I don't. But this one is really pretty anyways. So we're just going to put our we're just going to put our paper in there. And it really doesn't matter if it's straight or not, because these flowers don't have they're not like bricks where you've got to have them straight. And then we're going to run it through our embossing machine over here. And I know you can't see this, but when you're embossing with those 3D folders, you're going to need this specialty plate. And this is from Stampin' Up. It does work with my Big Shot. I have an older Big Shot, but it probably works best with the new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I haven't invested in that yet, but I do want to get one. I have the Stampin' Cut and Emboss mini machine, and that is really great for taking places. In fact, I'm going this weekend to a spring stamp. Is it called a stamp camp? I think it's called Stamp Camp. And no, it's called a retreat. It's a spring retreat. And I'm going to be taking my my mini cut and emboss machine with me, as well as some of my dies and other things. All right, so the last thing we need to do before we put our card together is we need to stamp this little sentiment to go at the bottom. So I'm going to, I have some little scrap pieces over here that are just about the right size for that, and then I just need to grab the happy birthday. But actually, this time, the congratulations is going to be a little too long. Really need a congratulations card. So let me see if that's going to fit on any of mine. And I forgot I put those style shapes away. That is a good idea though, Janelle. I guess if I knew they were crooked, I probably could trim them. But I used to have those really great trimming scissors that Stampin' Up sold, but I don't have them anymore. We used to have the best rubber trimming scissors, and I actually loaned mine to someone, and I haven't gotten them back. So, and it's been a couple of years. So at this point, I really don't expect to get them back. And I haven't found another pair of scissors that cuts through like this many layers of stuff that well. I don't like to use my paper crafting scissors for that. I try to keep my scissors for one purpose only. So my sewing scissors are for fabric, and I have just a pair of Fiskars down here that are for random things, opening packages and cutting up whatever random craft projects the kids have to cut up. But I like to keep my Stampin' Up snips just for paper, or maybe ribbon. Alright, so I'm going to cut out this congratulations. Maybe eventually I'll have a little camera over there by my machine too, where you can see what I'm putting out. Sometimes I bring it over to the table, but today I feel like I don't have a lot of space for that. My table is a little crowded right now. I participated in part of a creative convention yesterday, and so I have stuff kind of everywhere, and I still have stuff out from my in-person card class. Okay, so now I cut out my, let's see, my little congratulations. And I can't see that very good. And now we're going to put our card together. I'm struggling with my fingers now. Okay, so we're going to turn our 5 1/4 by 4 over. And we're going to put on, I use liquid glue. I know that it's not everyone's favorite, but this is what I like the best. So I do a thin line around the edge and then a squiggle down the middle. And I usually keep my liquid glue right here with my pal Mortimer. I got him at probably the first Stampin' Spring Retreat that I went to. And he's actually a little cement planter, but he holds my glue so nice. And if, let's be honest, if I used him as a planter, he probably would be sad because the majority of my plants right now are not too happy. I don't know if I water them too much or not enough, but they tend to struggle. I do have one little succulent that's trying to make it. I have a calla lily that I just got for Mother's Day. So I'm kind of hoping that will last a little while. And I have, let's see, my girls bought two, they're actually outdoor plants. And so we really need to get them outside, but they wanted to have them inside for a little bit. I know those rubber stamp trimming ones, they were the best. I really wish we still had those. And there used to be a pair of really big scissors too, like, I don't even know if there's a name for them, but they were really big craft scissors. They were amazing. I actually loaned both those pairs out together and they didn't come back. Which, first of all, teaches me if I really value something, I should be careful about who I loan it to. And here's the other thing. I have so many other pairs of scissors. Why didn't I loan a different pair? Because they were the best, and I wanted to share the best with someone else. So maybe they're still out there somewhere. Hopefully they are treating someone really well. But I did love those, and I wish I could find another pair just like them. And I do have to be careful with my scissors because, well, because I am not the only person who lives here, you know, and sometimes other people will borrow scissors for different projects. Okay, so now we're going to put our tree right here on this piece that is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. And this is just a piece that would be cut off, like, look, see how it fit right in there? It's just a little piece that's cut off the end. Okay, and then we're going to turn it over, and on this side over here we are going to put our Stampin' Dimensionals. So we're just going to put them on the left side only, because if we put them on the right side, our card will be stuck closed forever. And no one will see the pretty leaves that we colored in there. Right. Can't tell if I peeled that one or not. I did. Okay, and then when we stick it down, we're just going to line that up so it's in the center. And glue that down. And then we can add on our little congratulations. And we can just stick it right here. So what I'm going to do is grab these mini dimensionals and I'm going to put some along the very top of my sentiment, just like that. Okay, and then we can just stick it right on here like this. And then I wanted to show you one more thing. So these right here, if you can see them, are those tiny rhinestones. I don't know if you've ever done this, but it's really kind of cool. I'm gonna put them on here so that you hopefully can see. And then let me zoom in again. Okay, so I think you can see them a little bit, but I'll pull them up. Now I'm gonna take the dark Mossy Meadow Stampin' Blend and see those little dots. These are the basic rhinestones, and we're just going to use our Stampin' Blend to color them. Now this will work on these because the Stampin' Blends are alcohol markers, and that means they're a little more like permanent markers. They're not water-based like our Stampin' Write markers are. So if you look close, I think you can see the difference between these three over here and this one here. They're definitely green. I'm not sure how much of that shows up in the camera though. So I just wanted them to be green so that they match. Maybe you can see it on this. I don't know if you can tell that they're green or not. And then we're just going to pop them on there. And I only did 3, but you could do however many you want. You could color and put on. So there is our card, and it turns out it's so cute and it's really easy, but it's a little bit different. So if you send it out, people will be, well, I think anyone would be happy to get it, but they'll be impressed because it's not like a regular card. It's a regular card with a little bit of special. All right, so that is our first card. And honestly, I did not plan a second card. I knew that one I wanted to make, but I didn't plan a second one. So if you want to stick around, we will design one on the go. All right, let me zoom back out again because I feel like way zoomed in. There we go. All right, so let's see. I think maybe let's do a Sending Heartfelt Sympathy card. Hi Sharon, hi Kim. I just finished the first card, so it was this one right here. We're using the Loveliest tree stamp set tonight, but we're just getting ready to start on the second card. So let's see what I have. Let's see what I have in my little stash over here. So next to me, I have a little stack of cards that I have not finished yet, and I have these little card bases. And I think we're going to do a sympathy card. Let's use let's use this. Let's use this pretty blue. This is boho blue. And it measures 5.5 by 8.5, and it's already scored here in the center at 4 1/4. So we can fold that in half. And then let me see what color designer series paper we have that might go with this tonight. This is some of my favorite designer series paper. This is the Meandering Meadows paper, and I absolutely love this paper. Let's use this piece. This is really pretty. Well, but it's not really trees, is it? I'm trying to think. That's my problem, right? I love that set too. How about if we, well, I don't know. All right, let's do this one. I feel like this one is a little too cheerful maybe for a sympathy card. Not that you cannot be happy for people who have moved on. However, I do feel like that one was a little too cheerful. All right, let's use this little path here at the bottom. So we'll cut it at 4 inches from the bottom, and we'll save this little top part for something else. And then we'll turn it sideways and cut it at 5 1/4. I really like that tree too. I've just got to figure out what else to do with it. Okay, so that so far, really like that, and that's really pretty. And then in our dies, in the Loveliest tree dies, let's see what we have. I kind of wanted to use this little tree right here. So let's cut out a little tree, and I'm assuming that these are the little leaves that go with it. It's really stuck on. Okay, so let's do, I think we need maybe an early espresso tree trunk. What do you think? And we'll do some moss meadow leaves. I have a little scrap bin over here on the right, so that's where I'm pulling everything out of, if you're wondering. It's not a magic trick, I just have a little bit of scraps. So let's make our tree and see what we come up with. All right, so this is I think I'm going to have to get my little poker tool. Sometimes the dies get, the cardstock gets stuck in there a little bit. So this is our little tree trunk. That's really cute. Here, let's see. Can you see that? Not showing it off very good, am I? All right, so here is our little tree trunk. It looks better there than it did when I was holding it up. And then here are our little leaves. I haven't seen a whole lot of people use this yet. I know I have seen it, but I haven't done as much research as I usually do, like looking to see how people are using it. Before I come here and show you what I think. So we're just, this is kind of on the go, we're on the fly making our card here tonight. I definitely need a lot of cards, so I was making a list earlier of who I needed to send a card to. And I've been doing that lately and not completing my list, so I really need to get my cards in the mail. So I think this is how it's supposed to go, right over top of our card. And so maybe we need, I think maybe we need a shape to go behind this tree. Maybe a circle. Let me see where my spare circles are. You guys know I keep a little stash. Every time I make a circle, I make at least two. So I think this one might be too big. We might have to make a smaller circle. Let's see. So here's our little tree. This is a really cute little tree. It's so cute. So here's our little tree. I don't know, that might be the right size. Let me try this smaller one just to see. I don't want to cover up too much of that pretty paper. That's my problem right now. Because I really like that paper. I really like this little path. I think that's nice, and I kind of want to keep that part over there. I like this little tree on the circle. I think that'll be good. All right, so on this circle is where I'm going to stamp my sentiment. So I have my little circle here. You can hardly see it because of my little scrap here. Let me split it out of the way. It really is kind of tricky figuring out how to show you exactly what I'm working on. All right, so here is my little circle. I'm going to zoom back in again. I hope all my zooming in and zooming out doesn't make you feel like, I don't know, like you're in the time warp or something. Let's see, I think we're going to use our basic gray again, because I think that black sometimes is too stark. And so we're going to use our basic gray, and we're going to get our little Sending Heartfelt Sympathy stamp. Okay, and then I just want to remind you one more time, these Stampin' pads, the classic ink pads, they are foam. Okay, so it's not like when you're stamping with StazOn or a Memento, you really want to just lay your stamp on gently. You do not want to press it in there. So you're going to lay it on and tap it a little bit. When you turn it over, you're just going to make sure that it's all shiny, that the words are all shiny. If you notice any empty spots, then you want to just lay it back down and tap a little more. You really don't want to smoosh it. Do not take and smoosh it in there, because you're going to end up with ink everywhere. Everywhere. Okay, and so now we're going to stamp on our circle. And we're going to close up our ink so we don't make a mess. Now we're going to put together our little tree. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm just going to take my liquid glue. I have no idea if this is the right way to do it or not. And I'm just going to put a little bit along the front of these branches here. Now, if this shows through, because I did notice the little leaves are a little bit holy, there's lots of white space in there, right? Like we talked about on the first card. It may show through. But when that glue dries, it's going to dry clear, so it's going to be fine. No one is going to know. It'll be a little shiny in there, but it won't be white. You won't be noticing it. Okay, so here's our little tree. Here's our, oh, it's crooked. I don't like that. See if we can scoot it a little bit. There, that's better. Okay. That is one of the benefits about the liquid glue. Sometimes, if you don't get things lined up right, you hurry and wiggle them, then you can get them in the right spot. Okay, now I'm going to zoom back out so we can put this card together. Ooh, not that much. Sorry about that. I will get this figured out. Okay, so we're going to turn our designer series paper over, and here we go with the liquid glue again. And we're going to do a thin line around the edge and a squiggle down the middle. And remember, we're not pressing the tip of our glue into our paper. You should not hear it scooching along your paper. If you do, you're probably pressing too hard. And if you press too hard, you'll be embossing your paper from the back side. So now we can line that up in the center. This paper is so pretty. Okay. And let's see. I feel like it needs something else. I'm not sure what. Well, we're just gonna, I know what we'll do. We'll figure it out in just a second. All right, we're gonna turn it over and grab our Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm going to put this down here. I really don't want to cover up that little path. I love that. I love that little path. So that's what we got so far. And then we're going to add our little tree. And I think I'm going to glue it right down on there. I'm not gonna try to pop it up because it's such a skinny little guy. Okay. Grab more to milk. And we'll put our little tree right here. And I think on our tree, let's add a little wink of Stella. That'll just make our tree a little bit sparkly. Sorry, my wink of Stella is having a problem lately where it comes apart, and it should not. Alright, so let's add some wink of Stella all around our tree here. I hope you can see that little sparkly. It's only just a little sparkle that Wink of Stella adds, but it's just enough that it really pretties everything up. I love sparkly things. I'm kind of like a magpie. I always have been. Love things that are shiny, sparkly. I don't know if you would know that. I don't wear a lot of jewelry, but I used to actually make a lot of my jewelry. When I worked at a bead store, I accumulated a lot of beautiful sparkly things. And this little Wink of Stella, it is a little sparkly. I hope you can see it. I don't know if you can or not. That's why I'm trying to hold it up close. I really love the trees. Oh, a little red, Sharon. What do I have that's red that I can... I do wish I had, the other day I was hoping that in this set there would be a tiny little bird die, but there's not. There was one in a different set. I can't remember what it was, but there was another tree set that had a teeny little bird, and I absolutely love that little bird. We do have some birds, and they're very cute, but they're not as tiny as that one from before. Let's see what we can find around here. And I don't think we have any red embellishments, but you know what we do have? Where did I put that last tiny rhinestone? Right here. Let me grab another pack real quick. There's some little rhinestones. I split these up for something. I can't remember now. Who knows what it was? And I have a cherry cobbler Stampin' blend. So just like we colored the Mossy Meadow rhinestones earlier, we can color these cherry cobbler. I keep losing that single one. I gotta get that on something before it gets lost forever. All right, so now I think you can see it a lot better with this one. See how pretty that is when you color it? It's so pretty. All right, so we'll color, let's see, I don't know, can you see it? Another little one. Let's color two little ones. So now we have three littles. Let's do a medium one and a large one. Hold on, I colored it up. I have loved it. Since I found out you could color these with the Stampin' blends, I have been coloring all kinds of rhinestones. I wouldn't say it's my favorite thing to do, but I really do like what it adds to a card. All right, so let's add those on our card here. And we're gonna put them. I think I'm gonna put these tiny ones over here in my tree. And I'm gonna pretend that they're little cardinals flying around in my tree. Ooh. Not sticking very good. I think my Wink of Stella might still be a little damp. I kind of put a lot on there. So there are those. I like that. That was a good idea with the red, Sharon. Okay, so then look at that finished card. That's so pretty. All right, so these are our cards for tonight, and I will get started on the tutorials. If you're signed up for my email list, that will be coming out this week, as well as the tutorials for my card class. So I will send those both out, and a host code that you can order with if you would like to come to the next class in June. So June's class, I'm gonna have to move. I'll tell you in just a second when I make myself large again. All right, those are our 2 cards for tonight. I hope that you love those cards, and I'll be cleaning up my mess soon. Let's see. It did turn out cute with that little tree, didn't it? I really like it. So there's the little tree. Oh, it looks a little different, I think, in this camera. I don't know. I don't know what camera is better. All right, and then here is the bigger tree. And that one turned out really cute too. Okay, so quick reminders. The joining special goes through the end of May through the 31st. And in addition to the regular $125 for $99, you also get all 5 new in colors. The next in-person class is going to be June 14th. So almost every month it's on the 3rd Friday, but in June I am going camping. The girls and I and my mom, we go every year. And so I had to move it back a week. So it'll be the 2nd Friday in June. And I have 2 options. You can come at 12 o'clock or 6 o'clock. I do not have the cards designed for that yet. But I'm not sure what they'll be. I'll send that out as soon as I can. And then the other thing I want to remind you of is Tuesday, May 21st. There's going to be free shipping. So all orders $75 or more get free shipping. I can tell you that I have already started my cart, and I will have it ready so that I can send that in Tuesday morning before I even go to work. And I would suggest that you do the same. If you want in on the free shipping deal, there's no guarantee, and sometimes things run out or they go on back order. So if there are things you really want to get inside your free shipping order, you're going to want to place it a little bit earlier in the day. And then one more time, I wanted to show you the cards from this month's class, and the tutorial for these will be coming out too. All right, so here is the first card. It was actually the last card at the class. And I used the metallic enamel effects on this. Can you see those little shiny dots? They are so cool. So they work kind of like puff paint. I'll have to do a tutorial on that sometime. They look like this. I do think I might have done them on the cards I did the first Sunday of the month, but I'm not sure. I think that would have been May 5th, but I don't know. And the tutorial for that one should have already come out. Let's see, I showed you those 2, and then this one, and this one. And I may do a video showing you how to do the background on this. It's not really hard, but it does take a little bit of patience. So I will get pictures taken of those, get that tutorial finished up, and send it out to you. And if you do want to sign up for my next in-person class, just let me know, or you can RSVP right on my Stampin' Up website. Thank you for joining me tonight for Stampin' Sunday. I hope that you have a great week, and I will see you on the first Sunday in June. Happy stamping, everyone.